Great experiences build great leaders. Great leaders build great teams. This is Building Great Sales Teams.
All right, guys, welcome back to Building Great Sales Teams. This is one for the history books. This will be the most important episode we've ever done.
Why wouldn't it be?
Everything you need to learn will be learned from this, okay? I've got Maddie Mitchell. She's future heir to the Argenta throne, the daughter of Doug. She's a future basketball star. She's a straight-A student, she's an aspiring artist, and she's a video and skit maker. Some of the notable awards she's received, in case you need to know her credentials, is the President's Award, which is an award given to elementary students for getting straight A's their entire career.
Very smart.
Of school. She thinks she's very smart.
I am. I don't think I know.
Oh, she's coming out swinging. She also placed first in her 5th grade shuttle run and third in the 3rd grade bike race. She, most importantly, was recently baptized, accepted Jesus as her Lord and Savior. Amen. Hallelujah. Madeline, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
So, Maddie, you've been shadowing me today, working with me, serving as an assistant here and there, emotional support, just generally beautifying the room, naturally. What would you say we do here at Argenta?
For one, joke around.
That's the first thing she said. Oh, man, I'm in trouble. Okay? Don't tell your mom that.
For else? 2, you work with many new clients, and I don't know how to put these in words. You build great sales teams.
You put it really good this morning when I asked
I
you
know, I
this
just
morning.
forgot what I said. You work with new clients, and you teach people how to run their business better.
Yes. Beautiful. That is that's the simple put way. But it's one of those things, like, if you're an entrepreneur and let's say you have a marketing company, let's just say you have, a sales company like I had in the past or a consulting company, it's very hard to go home and tell your kids what you do every day. Dad does TikToks and reels and social media posts and writes and
interesting stuff.
Plays with ChatGPT and so she got to see some of that today. What'd you think of that?
The ChatGPT thing is pretty cool.
Yeah?
Because you could just tell it to make a story and it'll make one for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were, was it a couple months ago? We were playing around with it and we made a fable. Remember that?
Oh yeah, the one that Mom was trying to become famous off of.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, your mom just wrote a book and published it herself, not with ChatGPT.
I'm the main character, of course.
How did that feel, seeing yourself cartoonized? I don't know how to say that.
Animated.
Animated, there you go. She is the smart one.
Dude, it didn't look bad. It looked pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know if this will sound rude.
Just say it.
I didn't wear my glasses that much because I would lose them, so it looked weird without my glasses, but I would have lost them in the book anyway.
I love that. So true to form. True to form. Okay. So before we started this show here, I interviewed you. Normally I send out my guests a Calendly invite, and in that Calendly invite they answer certain questions, right? And one of the questions is, what are your core values, or what do you believe, or, what is important to you? And I liked your answer for this, and you said, what did I ask you specifically? I said, what do you believe about life?
Yeah.
And you said, live it right, you only got one. Well, at first you said live it, you only got one. And then you said live it right. And I was like, what does right mean? Because now you're opening up Pandora's box. You know, the right means a lot to a lot of different people. And so you said live it right. The first thing you said was biblically. The second thing you said was mentally. And then socially and physically. Mm-hmm. So let's just start at the top here. What do you mean live it biblically?
Biblically, mostly it might depend on what you believe in, like what is God, all of that. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's live it biblically, go off of the Bible if you need help, pray if you need help. Mm-hmm. It'll help a lot.
Can you think of a time in your life where it helped you?
I would want to say, like, the first main thing is when you and Mom got divorced. I was scared. I prayed, and I felt better because I knew they still love each other. They still, we're still going to be a family. It's just going to be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So that helped me out.
So what were you praying for at that time?
I was praying, number one, please let them get back together.
And what happened?
Right. Y'all got back together. I was right. I was the first one that thought of that. I'm taking all the credit.
First one that thought of it. No, I love that. I love it. Okay, what about mentally? Like what?
Mentally.
You know what most adults are thinking. What does a 12-year-old know about how to live right mentally?
Don't put a downer on yourself. It's not gonna work out. Like just saying you can't do it because there's no difference between. Well, there is a difference, but there's not really a big difference between somebody that says they can't do it and someone that says they can, because they're both right. You say you can't, you're not going to be able to. You say you can, you're going to excel and do what you can.
I don't even know where you're getting. I'm going to be honest right now. Like, you know, I would get a little envious of these, like, influencers that bring up their kids and their kids know their core values and their mission and their kids are indoctrinated, you know what I mean? But I've never really
Scripted.
Yeah, it does. It feels a little scripted sometimes when these kids get on there and they're just like dialed in and machines, you know? And I never really brought my work home until the last couple of years. You know, you guys just knew that Dad owned a business.
He was working in solar. I barely knew that. Like for years I didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah. And more recently, because, you know, I wanted my family to be aligned with me, I kind of bring my work home. I tell them what I do. And, you know what did it, honestly, was High-Low Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, like what we do at dinner.
Yeah. And so why don't you explain to them what High-Low Buffalo is?
High-Low Buffalo is something you could do anytime while your family is together. So High-Low Buffalo, Logan likes to go first. He'll just scream out, High-Low Buffalo, me first.
That's her little brother.
So high is the best part of your day, low is the worst part, and buffalo is something that surprised you. Buffalo doesn't make sense, but it rhymes, so it works. It just tells your family how your day was, because if you're like me, you like to be locked up in your room. So if you tell your family how your day's been, they just feel a little bit more included.
Absolutely. I love that explanation. And so, going back to what I was saying originally, it's very hard to communicate, you know, to a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old what we do. And now, 9, 11, and 12. 9, 11, and 12. Jeez. But yeah, so like these entrepreneurs, they, you know, you interview their kids or whatever, and they come up with all these amazing answers, you know, and I'm just like, man, I never really been like that with you guys. It's more like I want you to be interested in what I'm doing, and then I'll tell you about it, you know. And the only reason that you're here today is because you've said several times, I'm going to take over your business.
Because I am.
But what I love about that, it's not like, I guess, why did you decide that, and why, you know, because obviously it wasn't me coming home and saying, hey, who's going to take over my business, or, you know, I need to teach you business, you know. So why did you come to that conclusion?
I liked what you were doing. I liked how you were a teacher, but in a different way. You taught people how to take care of a company. You helped out people instead of bringing them down like other bosses may do. Mm-hmm. Instead of being a boss, you were more like a leader, and I admired that.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Jeez. All right, pull it together, Doug. I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting this. This is awesome.
We're only 10 minutes in, we need 20 more minutes.
Okay. My producer just let me know that I have to last for another 20 minutes, and I'm not going to. Okay. So.
Sorry, Ryan.
So all that being said, I was very happy that you were able to answer that question, because it is tough. It's weird the way work is now. It's not, daddy fixes toilets or is an electrician or a lawyer or a doctor. Like, how do you go home and say, hey, I'm an influencer and I'm a consultant? Like, that's just weird.
I didn't even know the meaning of consultant.
Yeah, but you know what an influencer is?
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so biblically, mentally, we've covered that. All right, what about socially?
Socially, you don't want to put image out, like, you don't want to brag, basically.
Okay.
You want to explain to people how your business is doing good by giving them information and not all the good things that are happening. You got to give them the bad things, too, because there are many bad things.
Why do you think it's better to give them the bad things than the good things?
It's not better, but I say you have to give it to them. So, like, you don't want to tell, like, basically a 5-year-old, like, hey, if you eat a bunch of candy, it's going to taste good. And not tell them, like, you're going to get fat and you're not going to be able to do anything. And, oh, my gosh, cavities, your teeth are going to be rotting. Is that me?
You got business?
You got business? Okay.
No. It's an alarm. Oh, it just says alarm.
Yeah, just hit stop. It's fine.
It's probably for reminding me to do something. I don't know.
She's got things to do. This is interfering in her schedule. All right.
It's just an alarm. I don't know what it's wanting me to do.
So when you say socially, it's basically to you socially is the image that you're putting out into the world, into society. And you're just saying make sure that you're not just recording the wins, you're also recording the losses, because people can learn from them and also to avoid them, right?
The more you fail, the more you learn.
I love that. All right, what about physically? I'm very interested in what you have to say here.
Physically.
Because we're not like a super physically fit family or anything like that,
We love to sit on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So what do you mean live it right physically?
Physically and mentally can tie together because there's a lot of, like, I don't know how to say it, like, expectations of people nowadays. Like, everyone, like, for girls, you got to look really pretty, and for men, you got to look masculine and strong. That's not always going to be the case, though. So you can't bring yourself up to that expectation, but you got to bring yourself up to your expectation.
We're done. That's a mic drop. That is a mic drop. Oh my gosh, you are freaking smart. Golly.
You're just now realizing?
I'm not just now realizing, but I've always known you were book smart. You know what I'm saying? But like, you're beyond your years on what you're talking about right now. And look, the reason I'm a little surprised right now is because her and her mom have very in-depth conversations about things like this. And if I'm going to give credit to anybody for what she just said, it's 100% her mama. 100%. And yes, that's one of my messages.
I don't say things like that to her, though. I just basically bring it up now.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Your mom doesn't get credit.
You get credit. You get some credit.
Okay. So I like to do this exercise where I imagine my perfect day, right? And so I feel like that's a lot to put on a 12-year-old. So what I'll ask you instead is, what was your favorite day?
My favorite day? Oh, yours and Mom's wedding. That made me so happy because I knew we were finally going to be a full family again. We were going to be together again. And I was able to be part of y'all's wedding. And that was amazing. And me and your daddy-daughter dance.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna make it, right? I'm not gonna make it. All right, I'm just gonna put this down for a little bit. I'm gonna do a Maddie.
the Maddie.
Yeah, there you go. She's vibing. No, I freaking love that answer. Okay, so here's the cliche question that I'm sure you get all the time, which is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A leader. I don't gotta put it in a straight straightforward answer, because if I say like if I say a Argenta solar worker or a chef or something like that, I don't want to put an expectation on there. That kind of expectation. I want to be an expectation like who I want to be. So who I want to be is what I want to be when I grow up.
You know what my next question was?
No.
Who do you want to be when you grow up? And she already answered it, because she's got the right things in her head right now. She doesn't care what her profession is. She just wants to be a leader. I love that. And I love it because I didn't care that, my opportunity to own a business was door-to-door sales. I just wanted to be a business owner, And now,
that's why I said that, because that's what you were, like a leader, like a business owner, everything like that.
Absolutely. No, I love it. Have I ever said that much on one podcast? I'm biased here, but this is the best podcast I've ever done. Easy, hands down. All right, so
it's fast.
What's that?
I've heard your other ones, a few of your other ones, and they're really long.
Oh, we're not done. We're still going here.
It's going fast.
Okay, so this one's always a tough one for me, because me and your mom talk about it. Your mom went to college. She got the 4-year degree. She became a teacher. She served the public. In my mind, they're public servants too, because they basically work for a discounted rate. And so she took that route. I took the other route, which was job to job. Got fired from my first 20 jobs. A societal misfit in a sense, and eventually ran my own business. Right. And so I guess my question is for you is, are you going to go to college?
Yes, I'm going to go to college.
Okay.
One, because I've always, like TV, of course it's not like actually true, but I've always admired, like, college seems fun, but it also is hard work.
Yeah.
So I need to like keep getting A's, keep like going so I can get into a college of my choice. And two, because I think I said two in that one. Because it gives me something to put all my work into. Because getting A's, it's good, but I want to put that into something.
Into a major.
Yeah.
In college, and then eventually maybe a profession. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm not really leaning one way or the other for you. I think you're going to be amazing at whatever you do. But what I will say is, what I do appreciate about college is the social experience, right?
It gives you like an experience that you can't get if you don't go.
Well, it's also a transition period where,
oh yeah,
all right, you're still like managed by adults a little bit, but you have your freedom.
It gives you an experience of like paying for an apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll help too, managing money and all of that.
Except you got to pay with grades, because you need a scholarship. Because I'm not paying for your college. I'll pay for your living expenses and stuff like that, but anyways, as long as you get straight A's. So
Mom might get suckered.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I do though. I believe like that. I missed out on that experience, right? I kind of lived it vicariously through your mom, because I was dating her through 2 of her college years, right? But I definitely missed out on that for sure. Was that whole college experience, and then the idea that I could just like show up and just go to school every day and not necessarily have to have a job or have any responsibility, but getting good grades and studying, like that sounds fantastic right now. I would love to go to college for like theology or marketing,
That's probably what I would try to like get into, to like if I was doing what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first boss and my previous partner in Argenta used to always tell me accounting.
Was it Wayne?
No, that's Troy. That's Troy.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm just thinking of the guy with the big beard.
Oh no, Wayne was our VP of sales, and so he would always tell me that, and it's because he's like, the financial part of the business is what gets everybody, and sure enough, it got me several times, and it's still getting me today. So accounting apparently is the game when it comes to owning your own business, because it's usually what business owners are missing. You know, they have the talent for everything else, but accountants aren't talented. They're just
I
really
slightly
smart.
understand accountants. I hardly know the meaning of the word. I'm just putting your words into sentences in my brain.
You are very good at that, at context clues. You do well at that. So, okay, so
The M. Night Shyamalan movie.
did anything, you spent most of the day with me now, and, it wasn't that eventful or anything, but did anything to surprise you about what we did today?
No, it's just like a day I would imagine you doing, like doing a bit of podcast, doing some work, goofing off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was on Randall Rutledge's podcast, which is Moving the Needle.
His place is amazing.
Yeah.
That collage was really cool.
So he has it at a podcasting studio, or I should say a media studio. So, Ryan and I have talked about this concept before of, renting out an office suite with several rooms in it. And you can turn one room into a green room, another room into a small studio, another room into a big studio.
Another room into a kitchen because food is amazing.
Yeah, because food, naturally. And so that's where he was set up at. But anyways, during the podcast, we talked about, sometimes you have to work these, 12, 14-hour days, and you go all day and you don't get to see your family, right? And I want to know from your perspective, like, what that's like.
Like not being able to see you?
Yeah, well, yeah, and also, I think you know what I'm going to say here. Like, obviously, I prepare y'all for that.
You tell us like 2-3 days before.
But earlier in your life, I didn't do that. Earlier.
Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on.
Okay, so walk me
much.
through that a little bit. Earlier in my career.
Like while we were in Corpus Christi, mostly, I didn't. Most of the time, I didn't know what you were doing. I just knew you owned a company and you sold something.
Okay. And how did it make you feel when I was gone for several days?
I didn't like it at all. Big Daddy's girl, 100%.
I love it.
I missed you a lot. It was a little bit. I mean, for me now, it's not that weird because one parent, like a certain day, because that's why I didn't feel too upset during the divorcing with one parent because I was a little bit used to it.
Dang.
I said a little
Just
bit.
dropping bombs, y'all. Okay, what about now? What
Now, I mean, when I still miss you, like we call you like every time you go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not every day because we do
Yeah.
it because stuff. But I always ask you questions when you come home, like during dinner, during a car drive. I always ask you questions because I want to know what's going on, what you do, so I can also understand it more.
Yeah.
But like when we lived in Corpus Christi, it was just you go away for some days, we stay with mom, and then you come back, and then a few weeks later you might go away again.
Yeah. So now the biggest difference is,
I understand.
Yeah, you understand, but it's not just because of your age, though. It's because before I had these 14-hour days the last couple weeks, or these long days, or where I didn't see you all day, what did I do?
You told us.
Yeah. And I did. I wanted the audience to hear that because you do. As an entrepreneur, you feel bad that you're taking all this time away from your family. You should be home spending time with them.
It makes it easier to know why.
Exactly. And all of a sudden that guilt goes away when you align them with the mission, And so why am I doing all this now? Why all of a sudden after owning a business for 13 years am I working so hard now?
I might get there's no wrong answer, right?
No wrong answer.
Okay. Let me think. Wanna ask a question again because I'm off.
So why after 13 years of owning a business, and last year, maybe working 30, 35 hours a week, now I'm working like 60, 65.
I would say right now it might be getting harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's getting harder. Less people are maybe needing it
Okay.
because probably people are stealing your ideas.
I agree, 100%. Every one of my ideas is original, and you stole them all.
Also, more work means more. There's more. What's the word? there's more good things, there's more good outcome coming from that. So more work, more good outcome is coming from that too.
So the more work that I do now, the more benefits we'll have later as a family. 100%. Yeah. So what happened was earlier, like a month ago, and honestly last year, before we went on the vacation to Disney, I sat y'all down.
Not Disney.
Oh,
not Disney.
Yeah, we don't go to Disney.
Universal.
Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure.
That's fun.
I sat y'all down and I told y'all a couple things. One, I'm shutting down my old business, and I've been operating the consulting company for a while now, and that's going well, but it is a brand new company, so it's going to take the work I used to do 10 years ago, in order to get it going,
Like more experience.
Yeah, and so I prepared y'all for that then, and then last month, things were getting really tight. We weren't having as many clients, not as much recurring income, so I knew, okay, I've got to step it up. I've got to put more hours in at work, put more content out, generate more leads, close more clients, and I wanted to prepare you guys for that because it was going to go from a normal 9 to 10 hour day to all right, Dad's not getting home until 10 o'clock at night, kind of stuff. And so I think, as long as it's for a season, it's okay. I don't think any of that's sustainable for any amount of time. And maybe if you're 21 and single, which I never was. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because it was a really good topic that we talked about in Randall's podcast as well. So if you guys get a chance, check out Move the Needle. Shout out Randall. All right. So let's talk about your brothers.
Oh, gosh.
So you say you want to be a leader when you grow up. Do you think you're a leader now?
Oof. Not with them. It's so hard, especially because they're my brothers. They're going to be annoying to me.
Okay, but you understand that is the literal definition of a leader to be able to overcome.
That's my weak point right there.
Your brothers?
Yes. It's going to be easier. Maybe, I hope, I pray, please. Mm-hmm. It's going to be easier once they get older. They start gaining some responsibility, I hope.
Yeah.
Don't become don't start a garage band and have a big dream of being a rock star when you're still home with your parents at 26. Please. Boys, please don't.
Just threw them under the bus. No faith. No faith.
I said, please don't.
We are praying that, and Cameron is very talented, that he's so talented that he doesn't have to work hard and he kind of gets an easy out. No, I think you're doing better than you think you are. I think you're a leader in this family. When me and your mom, because right now it's summertime and you guys are staying up a little bit later. Normally during the week you guys go to bed at 8:30, which people think is crazy. So during the summer, we let you guys stay up till 11 and 12 sometimes. But of course,
the main is 10:30.
Yeah. Me and your mom go to bed at 9:30, 10. Not the last few nights, which is why I'm so tired. But anyways, me and her were in bed. And, we just got done with our prayer, and we were just talking or whatever, and then all of a sudden, we hear the boys get a little loud, and then you're, getting after them and telling them to get into bed. So basically, we got to listen to the whole ordeal of you putting them to bed. But you know what? I was kind of surprised because it wasn't a fight. They listened to you, and...
Because they know, now that they know, I'm able to punish them. I'm able to give them punishment because it does work, okay? Scaring them a little bit does work. If you're going to be all sweet, it's not going to work with them.
All right. But my point was, I'm over here talking about how good of a leader you are. I'm able to punish them.
No. I'm not going to punish them harshly. I got to
know.
put it there so they know, there's going to be consequences if they don't listen. Because that's the real world.
Why am I even over here? Just give her the show already. Just give her the show already.
It's fine. This is Maddie's podcast. We have a guest, Doug Mitchell.
The mic has been passed. I'm done here. Who's our next guest? Who's our next guest? No, I'm curious because I might have Maddie host the show. So she can impart some wisdom on him. That was awesome. No, but in all, yeah, you're 100% right. That's the real world. There's consequences, right? But also, we didn't ask you to do that. We didn't ask you to put the boys to bed because when we're home, everybody's equal, right? Everybody has their own responsibilities.
Yeah.
And you put yourself to bed, and if we're in bed first, right? Mm-hmm. But you took initiative, and you're like, hey, what do I know? What do you know? You know that if y'all aren't in bed on time, then
we're getting our butts whooped.
Yeah. And so you took initiative and you wrangled up the boys for their own good and put them to bed, So that is leadership in my mind. Okay. So, last question.
Oh, so this is already almost done?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
You got something else you want? Okay. Madeline, what would you like to cover? Oh, all right, I'm done. Last question.
We're already on the last question. I got my 15 seconds of fame.
You really are just so beautiful. Oh, okay.
Keep it together, Doug.
I know. Okay. All right, last question. What does legacy mean to you?
Legacy?
And what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Oh, gosh. So, that's actually 2 questions.
She's the only one that ever called me out on that. She's the only one that ever called me out on that. Like,
I'm your daughter. I don't feel bad for doing it.
I know it's 2 questions.
Say last 2 questions.
All right.
Okay. Legacy means to me, like, the mark you made on this earth.
Okay.
Like how, I'm trying to put this, like, in a good example that doesn't sound kind of dumb.
You can't sound dumb at this point. You just can't. You're crushing this.
Let's see. Like, the guy that invented the light bulb, what is his name?
Thomas Edison.
Yeah, Thomas Edison. He invented the light bulb. He left his legacy. He didn't, probably because he invented it, he had many thoughts. Mm-hmm. Not just thoughts like, what am I going to do? What am I going to make for this? Like, what he had, what was his thought, like, while like making it? Like, how am I going to shine a light on this earth, finding ways to inspire people to invent more things? Mm-hmm. So his light bulb also became a symbol of an idea. Mm-hmm. It's gonna go back.
Yeah, I want everybody to hear what you're saying, and you gotta talk.
Oh yeah, okay. So what legacy means to me is
I want to break that down real quick because what you said is really important. Like, his purpose wasn't necessarily to invent someone; it was to inspire others to invent something.
Like it's not a fact. It's like something it's my opinion.
Okay. No, that makes I love it. Makes a ton of sense. So, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
I mean, yeah, I am 12, I think.
That's a good answer.
I'm 12, I think. I'm not going to officially know what I want to leave behind yet until I can fully, like, take on, like, I fully lived a life. Like, how we were talking in the car. I think it was the car. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And you said that you say 21 is official adult.
Yeah.
Because 18, you're still probably, if you go to college, you're still in college, you're still slightly teen.
Yeah.
So 21, yeah, a good age for an adult. That's when you can come back and ask me, like, what legacy I want to leave behind, because I'll have more experience of life then. But for now, I'll say, because I know there's something. I want to leave my ideas behind so people can take those ideas and create them into their own.
I love it. I'm kind of speechless right now. Like interviewing your kid on a podcast, and you're a representation of me. And, man, I gotta say, you're an amazing representation of me. Thank you for coming on the show, baby. Love you.
Love you too.
Let's get it.
Shoot, I'm not even worried about that right now. Dude, who are you, Chuck? Dang. You're too smart for me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Building Great Sales Teams. We appreciate it. be sure to execute on everything that you just heard, and let's get building. Before we sign off, we'd like to invite you to join our Brickyard community. Head on over to jointhebrickyard.com. Again, that's jointhebrickyard.com, or click the link in the description to find out more.